everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Yelena Proskurin. I have about 10 years of industry experience in localization project and program management. And the last 4 of those years, I have been teaching in the localization program at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies here in Monterey, California. And our program in localization specifically next year turns 20 years old. And the program has gone through significant transformation to keep up with the fast pace of the industry. One of the things we'll be talking to you about is one of the offerings we give to our students is through experiential learning. This is one particular project that we're going to present to you today. As I was preparing to teach a marketing class, I found out about a winery in Lodi, California. It was a very new winery. I was excited about it because it was started by a former NASA astronaut, Jose Hernandez. And just randomly, I sent him an email asking if he is interested in some marketing work. And in turn, our students would have an opportunity to apply the topics we learn in class directly to a real client, a real project. Basically, I was asking him for a playground, a sandbox. And within an hour, I had a response from him saying he was very excited about that opportunity. And this experiential learning project came out of that, where our students do apply marketing concepts to his company. And I am joined today by 2 of my students, 2 of my colleagues, James Kuba, who is part of the 2-year residential program in localization, and Javier Zamorano, who is in our advanced entry 1-year program. One of my most memorable moments in this project was when Javier and I came to meet astronaut Jose Hernandez for the first time. Back at Facebook, sitting at my desk, I never could have imagined finding myself in this moment, in this warehouse, watching wine get poured into bottles, corked, labeled, and here I am just observing one of my students boss around an astronaut. It was such a humbling experience, absolutely hands down my favorite moment from the project. So without further ado, Javier, let me pass it over to you. Tell us please a little bit about your journey, how you came to the Middlebury Institute and how your role has evolved in this project.
Sure. So I actually started as a Spanish translator, interpreter in the public sector. I've been doing that for a few years. I've always been passionate for languages and technology, bringing those 2 together. So the degree here, the Master's in Translation, Localization Management, was the perfect fit for me. Yes, I've been, building teams, building localization programs in the public sector. Again, that's what brought me to the Middlebury Institute. Knowing about these experiential learning opportunities that exist here. We know that the infrastructure is there, the people are here to provide those opportunities. So that's what kind of led me to the Middlebury Institute. Now, when it comes to this project, I was approached by Professor Yelena to join the project. We really didn't know what I was going to do at the beginning. We were kind of exploring the different options. And then we quickly noticed that I could bring my experience in both the music business and the public sector into the Tierra Luna project. So I started designing a few of the posts that would go out on social media. The website, I came up with a mock-up of a new design for the website. And then that quickly moved into more of a project and program manager role. This is now where we are determining what the needs are of our clients. And we're looking at team members and which team members we can use or utilize for specific roles, specific tasks in the projects. I think my most memorable experience has to be waking up at 3, 4 in the morning, going out to the fields and picking grapes. You hear about the story, you watch the movie, a million miles away, and it's something else to be there in person, in the fields, and even having lunch, having a burrito with Jose Hernandez. So that's been one of the most memorable experiences for me.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, and so Javier, he very quickly established himself as a leader of this project. Initially, we thought this was going to be entirely a school project, a student project, where myself as the professor just hand out tasks to the students. And very quickly we realized that with Javier's experience, we could turn this into an entirely student-run experience with Javier more or less coming up with the vision for the project, the strategy, and then identifying the talent that he needs for this team. And Javier has built out this team almost exclusively and entirely by himself. So Javier, you've worked with a wide range of different clients. What was the highlight of this particular project?
I think the highlight here was not only working with former NASA astronaut Jose Hernandez, following the success of A Million Miles Away, but after the movie, kind of looking at his needs as a client when it came to social media, his website. We knew that he had much success even with the wine business after the movie, and sales were decreasing a little bit. So he needed that help, and that's why we feel that he liked the idea of us working on his social media, his marketing, and of course, providing that access in both English and Spanish was a huge need, a huge request from him. So we made sure to incorporate that into the things that we were doing for him.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And a question to both of you. You have vastly different levels of experience. How do you gauge when there's value in working for free? When would you invest in that? And then at what point do you stop? You have already identified that you have provided enough value, and then you request payment for continuing the services. Maybe James, if you could start.
Yeah, sure. So I think being in a master's program in itself is already a big investment. I'm already spending a lot of time and money into this program in order to make sure that I get to my ideal goal in the future. And so I think on one hand, I'm getting that learning experience, but then on the other hand, I am missing that professional experience. And so I think that Tierra Luna Cellars has been a great opportunity for me to actually implement a lot of what I've learned in different classes, for example. So for me, I've considered it a very nice investment. And the fact that, like you said, Javier, it is a very flexible program. It really helps you be able to work in the field that you're hoping to work in, while at the same time also maybe being able to work part-time and earn some money that way as well. Yeah.
And I have to take an example from the music business. Say, for example, you are looking into a band that you want to join. Maybe they're looking for a guitar player. You've played guitar for 10, 15 years. What would be the process to become part of that band? Of course, you would get maybe a list after you demonstrated that interest in that band. You would have to learn the music, 10, 15 songs, a couple of months for that. You wouldn't get paid for any of that. The goal there, the big picture, would be for you to be ready that day, that audition day, and hopefully be part of the band. Once you prove yourself throughout those months, you learning the music, then the main goal would be, to eventually get paid once you join the band. So I take those examples into, localization. Professor Yelena has taught us, bring all of your experiences from life and apply them here. That's one of the main things that I always look at. And same thing here in localization. When I was introduced to this project, I didn't even think about how much would I get paid. It was kind of the long term. What would come after this? What could I learn? I had managed teams before, but I thought this would be a very good opportunity to bring new people in and experiment with the different roles.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So James, how has this project impacted your learning and your career goals?
Very good question. So when I first entered this program, I didn't know very much about localization at all. I was an English teacher in Japan for about 5 years, so I had some management experience, but it was more managing students rather than professionals in a given field. So it's a very different kind of management. But even with things like translation and other elements within localization, I didn't know too much. And so coming into Tierra Luna Cellars and learning about a lot of DTP work, that's where I started, is being a DTPer for Tierra Luna Cellars, which is like a desktop publisher. So I create a lot of content being like static posts and videos for Instagram, for example. And so it's been a great experience learning that localization is it's not only translation, it's also a lot of creating these posts and then also switching it from English and then making it into, for example, Spanish, because we have a lot of Spanish speakers. So it's been great building my portfolio in that way, and it's been just a great experience for me to figure out, okay, maybe I'm more interested in this creative side of localization. So.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I wanted to share one of the videos that James created. We nominated for the Cannes International Film Festival Award for Marketing and Creativity. So very excited about that. So James, what was your favorite part so far in the project?
I think my favorite part so far has been one of our most recent opportunities. So every month we try to create a new campaign, or our former project manager would create new campaigns every month for us us desktop publishers to create new content for. And one of our most recent ones was called The Wineler, which was kind of a play off of The Bachelor. So we tried to have our different wines from Tierra Luna cellars be kind of candidates to be a bachelor, essentially. And so all of our viewers on Instagram, they got to vote on which one they liked the best. And so that was a really fun, creative process for me to just create posts for. And I think
Even develop like their own personalities and everything.
right, yeah, no, yeah, creating the personalities was very exciting. We did some amazing like photo shoots as well. My co-desktop publisher made some beautiful static video posts and photo posts as well. So I think seeing my growth from recently until a few months ago when I started in the project creating these posts, I had no experience making these. So seeing that growth has been just great for me, I think, yeah.
Absolutely. Can you give me an example of one of the creative challenges the team faced when working on this particular project?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the ones that I thought was the most interesting was our Dia de los Muertos campaign, which is like Day of the Dead campaign that we had. And so I guess for those who don't know Day of the Dead, Day of the Dead is essentially a holiday mostly celebrated in Mexico where you celebrate your deceased loved ones in a way that maybe they feel alive again. Is that a fair description? Yes. Okay, I just want to make sure, right? So when we were creating the idea for this campaign, there were a lot of different things to consider. We really wanted to make sure that we got it right because a lot of our viewers on Instagram speak Spanish. And so I believe a lot of them are also from Mexico as well. So we just wanted to make sure that we created an authentic experience for our users and created it in an engaging way as well. So something that we considered and ended up being very successful was we called it our virtual altar. So this virtual altar was very similar to an ofrenda, which is basically an altar where you put pictures of your deceased loved ones, maybe in your home, maybe outside your home, to celebrate them being in your life. And so you have a lot of elements on that ofrenda. You have the pictures, you have some of the foods. I believe there's some drinks on there as well, maybe candles, beautiful decorations. So we needed to make sure that it looked authentic, that it was an ideal, authentic experience. And so we invited our users to send photos to us directly so that we could put their loved ones on our virtual altar. And yeah, by the end, we just had so much engagement from that. And it was a very exciting time to do that. It was very difficult too, because we had to expand the picture as a result because we got so much engagement. But it was an amazing experience, I think, yeah.
Right. So Javier, then what's next? You're graduating in 4 weeks. What's next for you? What's next for this project? We have lost one of our project managers for the best possible reason. Because of this project, he got what we hope and think is his dream job. specifically in desktop publishing. He's a localization production artist now. So what's next, both for you, for this project?
Well, we've been inspired to start our own business, so we started Mosaica Marketing, the Mosaica Marketing firm. Based on that, we have more clients that we can work with. The plan is to grow this into more of an internship type program where we can bring the talents of the Middlebury students. So that's the plan for now. Trying to determine what those needs are within the clients that we have, and again, bringing the talents of our students to help those clients.
That's fantastic. So a lot more experiential learning opportunities coming out of that. One of my favorite things about these experiential learning projects is, as an instructor, I don't get to see my students perform after they graduate. I don't get to see them at work. I sometimes hear from them on LinkedIn. I see them getting their promotions, but I don't actually get to see them solving problems day in and day out. And this experiential learning project and all of the similar experiential learning projects allow me this window into how my students will perform in the industry, and that makes me very proud. So thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.